Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I am Patrick.
And I'm Paul. How's it going?
Not too bad. And tonight we're talking about streaming wars. Paul, as you pointed out, we were some of the first people in the world, possibly the first people on the internet, to coin the phrase streaming wars, and then you saw it everywhere. And I definitely think we should take credit, because nobody can disprove it categorically, any more than we can prove it categorically. But what we can do is show how ahead of the curve we were on some of the things to do with the streaming wars. A year ago, or a little over a year ago, a bit more than a year ago, in fact, we had a little old video called, and I'm going to pull it up so I can try and remember it, End of the Binge. It was when Disney Plus had launched at long last, and that's when we were halfway through our streaming wars series of videos. Check out our channel, links in the description, blah blah blah. Go to our page, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, bells. Good. Now that that's out of the way, the main thrust of the whole End of the Binge was Netflix has been around for a long time. Netflix has been the streaming king or queen, the top of the streaming pile on its own, really, for a long time. There were other small streamers, and I know Hulu came first, or whatever the hell else people want to say. But Netflix was the daddy. They liked creating bingeable content. They loved dumping out their Stranger Things and all the rest, and people were binging. In fact, binge watching wasn't really a term until after Netflix. People have binged all along, and go back and watch our End of the Binge video. Paul was kind enough to trust me for to do an infographic one. I said to Paul, can I have a go at this? And you were like, yeah. Whereas I would have been like, please don't F it up and make us look really stupid. But it's short enough that no one noticed, thankfully. There are plenty of mistakes in it. But the thesis behind it all is Netflix wanted bingeable shows. They wanted the stuff where people are like, there's 13 episodes, all an hour long. I have to book the whole weekend off. I'm watching all 13 hours. And people are talking about it for the next week. Disney Plus came out a little bit different. They came out of the gate with Mandalorian as their kind of big show. And it was weekly. Everybody was straight back to, hang on, that's what TV is, not what streaming is. What the hell, man? What the hell? Very quickly, it showed that it was a really good idea and a great differentiator, one that they've held on to. Because the Disney Plus Marvel shows are all weekly. They're not releasing, the entire series. Loki was, a Wednesday night for us. WandaVision was Friday nights for us, I think.
Yeah, and so was Captain America as well.
There you go. And even the What If stuff was there. Why the Last Man, which is on the Star platform, part of Disney Plus, that's every Tuesday or Wednesday. So they stuck with the idea. And that's what that video goes into, but this isn't about that video. Essentially, we're going to have a look and a little update at the streaming wars. But we did call that people were going to take their own angle. And I think as we're talking through the different streamers, it's going to become very clear that our predictions, as many of them were right, as some of them were wrong, the one thing we did say is to survive, they're not all going to be able to do the same thing. And it's been really fascinating to see how they all went for the same end goal. Spoiler alert, I'm going to spoil the end of our own infographic video, Paul. Yeah, they don't care if you like binging or you like it weekly or you like 3 shows on every full moon. They just want your money and they just want to keep you subscribed. So how they go about it is a bit of crack. Also, Paul, I realised that we have the most short-lived mascot ever, because little Mikey made an impression in that video. Our little Hear Us Out microphone never came back. So in case anybody's wondering, Mikey's fine. He's living on a farm upstate. Okay, he's fine. So Paul, which service do you want to talk about first, as far as getting a jump on the streaming wars goes?
Yeah, I guess we'll go for Disney Plus, because they're doing moves and stuff like that, and also they've had the biggest kind of, I guess, jump in some of their
the biggest success story. Yeah.
Well, this is kind of. I guess it's kind of weird. It's like it's a so kind of moment, I guess, for them, in my opinion, because March this year they upgraded their price by $1 per month, which isn't a large amount of money, but if you're spending a whole bunch on other streaming services, it might tip you over the edge. The reason for this was the introduction of the Star platform kind of stuff. But they've been having production issues with their release dates and stuff. So that it's because of the dark times that we've been living
the
through.
Darkest of the timelines.
Yeah. So they're chucked. Like they've got supposedly they have a massive amount of backlog for production stuff to go up onto the streaming platform, but the problem is that scheduling and if you throw up too much stuff at the same time, which Netflix is very aware of already, because they go through the binge model kind of thing. They go through a hybrid. They go through binge and weekly releases, but Disney is all about the kind of we want stuff to be, as you said, scheduled on different days. So they want stuff on from Monday to Friday be coming out so that you watch your hour of this, an hour of that on the next day and stuff like that, so that you're always on the platform at least for an hour every day kind of thing. So that's what they want you to do, but the problem is that they've got so much content backed up that they can end up disseminating too much. So it'll be diluting you too much, diluting some of the stuff that they want to be more forward facing. So that's why the Mandalorian isn't going to come out for a while, kind of thing. But they also don't want it to come out while possibly some other Star Wars stuff comes out.
Yeah.
So
I'll be honest with you. The reason I call Disney Plus an unqualified success, I don't have to make any kind of hold anything back for them, is they beat their projections after the first month. Then they beat their projections after 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. But on top of all that, they have, of all the people, they have the best chance of success because they're Disney and they were massive and they own Marvel, Lucas, so they already had Star Wars stuff, they already had Marvel stuff. They have they have National Geographic, they have all kind of stuff to do. But in the short couple of years they've been out, the El Rona did come along and put a real spanner in the works as far as their production schedules. So the fact that they were able to grow the way they did and deal with that, but more than that, the big thing that they have, and I know we have Star on screen right here, but for a lot of people in your geography or your location, Hulu is going to be one of the things that you're offered as part of the packages. Because a lot of what we don't get Hulu, but we do get Star. So a lot of Hulu content appears on Star for us. They've really had one bigger challenge than Netflix or any of the others. And that is that they've already licensed out content and ownership to other people. So they can't just go into every geography. It's the same as HBO Max in one way. HBO Max have it in a worse way for the UK and Ireland because of Sky. But Disney have to really work hard in a lot of smaller places now. I think Greece still doesn't have Disney Plus. Can you imagine being a Marvel fan in Greece? So you're watching Marvel movies, but you can't get your hands on the Marvel TV shows. And there's a Marvel movie coming down the tracks that you want to be filled in, legitimately and legally. You want to pay to see this content, but you just can't. So you're like, I'll just stop going to the movies until I can get the stuff. No, you'll go and download. That's what people will do. They'll find a way.
You always do find a way, kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're facing some challenges, but overall, they're hitting every mark. The fact that they were about to go stale if they hadn't added Star, particularly in our geography. They weren't going to have an adult arm. And we talked about this in some of our old streaming videos, that we knew it was coming. We didn't know what it was going to be called. Then it was announced. Then it came out. And it's made Disney Plus somewhere that I go way more regularly than I did before. Because I don't go watching Marvel movies. I've seen them all. I watch the Marvel TV shows, yes, but that's because they're new and they're fresh. But I will go into Star and browse around and maybe watch something. Yeah, I'm saying they're doing well, and they've got their big Hawkeye launch. Oh, Hawkeye trailer 2 today. Got that for the SEO. Now we can put it in. Legitimately, we talked about it, so we can put it in our tags. Hawkeye teaser trailer number 2. It's going to be their big Christmas TV show. They've just finished What If. So all year, they've had, in Marvel alone, they've had something every other month. which is kind
Well,
of impressive.
which is actually their plan was to have it every month.
Yeah.
That was so that's production problems because like WandaVision ended in no Captain America ended in December and WandaVision ended in March. So and then Loki ended in a couple of months after that. Like they've been having production problems and trying to keep the Marvel stuff going and other stuff going. So like that's one problem. They also had the added advantage of they connected with Verizon and you get 1 year free subscription to Disney Plus if you go with Verizon, or it was the other way around. So that's an added bonus for them, kind of thing. You're right. Opening Star was a big move, kind of thing, because it means that more adult stuff, and also stuff that we can't get from the Hulu kind of thing, like Orville and Walking Dead, and tons of like
And
the
they're
strain is there.
adding so much more every week. It's great to see.
Yeah, so like they have opened it up and stuff, and I'm now going to give you numbers. Churn rate, which is the rate of subscribers moving over to other subscriptions or just ending their subscription, was 11%, and now it's down to 6% for the second quarter of this year, which is really good. Mm-hmm. The churn rate for the third quarter isn't out yet. So that is good. That's a really good like downsizing of the churn rate for them. That's over their all the regions that they're operating in, kind of thing. But this is like, so they're moving in the right direction. They're doing quite well. Their production problems are the only thing that's probably holding them back in a lot of ways. But if we move, to give you an example, sadly, Netflix and Amazon Prime, their churn rate is 4%. It started at 4% this year, and it's still 4%. It has not moved. Like, the thing is that like they brought in as much subscribers as they've left, so they've just held steady at 4%, which is just an incredible thing to continue to do.
And when you consider and we'll go on to those in a minute actually, and I think when we hit each one, we should talk about why. It's going to come down to the fact that they are legacy. One way or another, Netflix has it's grandfathered itself into streaming at this stage. Amazon used some other tactics around the place by just a very different business model. But to close up on Disney Plus, I just wanted to check the comments. I can see Pop Culture and Brew. Hey, you guys, good to see you. You're mentioning that you're interested in seeing how it'll look different around the world. Well, Hulu, when you make a good point, I did know about the Comcast Hulu ownership debacle. It's the Universal owning the rights to Hulk movies of the streaming services. I think, and I'm gonna say it on the internet now, so in a few years people will have forgotten if I'm wrong. I think you might see a Hulu rebrand. I think Star Hulu something in the future when Disney own everything. I think I can see them doing something there. And repackaging. Disney might start repackaging and reprice categorizing things to try and see if they can grab the last percentage of people that they've missed out on. And maybe keep some of the ones that they feel they're losing in the churn. Because Disney Kids, if you know what I mean, some people will only have gotten Disney Plus for the Disney Kids aspect. They may change the pricing structure there and try and package it up with other things. Who knows?
I definitely agree. Like once Disney gets their hands on their distribution rights for content around the world back, because just to talk about distribution rights, you sign a waiver with some kind of channel or local broadcaster or local streaming service, you give them your content and they have it. The problem with these distribution contracts is you cannot get out of them. It's not like it's not like there's some kind of escape clause or anything like that in most of the contracts. It's literally just like, it's because these companies, like, they just sign them away. They're just like, yeah, have, this thing for 5 years, kind of thing. This is one interesting thing. They do have, for certain content, a clause in which they are able to also stream us on their service, which they did with the Marvel stuff. The only one that they don't have is because they signed out the rights to it, was Punisher Jessica Jones.
Oh, the
Iron
original
Fist,
Netflix.
Luke Cage, yeah.
Yeah.
They will never be able to get them onto the Disney platform because they're not.
Well, they're
They're
technically Netflix properties, technically
yeah.
because of production and other things. And I'm laughing at the idea there of ironclad contracts. You know how a contract is ironclad if Disney's lawyers can't find a way to break it, because they're not the cheap lawyers. They're not the lawyers you see with the ad on the back of the bus. I'm just throwing over the comments before we move away from Disney Plus because I can see.
So one more.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I definitely do agree that you'll see in a couple of years once they get most of their stuff back from Hulu, they will start doing tier rungs because, like, I say the biggest reason why a large of their original subscribers was the original Disney stuff for their children and stuff like that. It's a streaming service that's specifically targeting towards children, kind of thing, and parents, and just the rest of the stuff was as a benefit. And then Star came along, and it's just more of a benefit. But yeah, I definitely agree that they'll probably chuck it up and go, here's a kids Disney Plus, here's a all package Disney Plus, and here's your adults Disney Plus kind of content thing. It makes sense. It makes sense for them to do that.
And I see one of the comments here about Hulu won't be rebranded as Star because of Star's the other channel in the States. I'd agree with you there. There's more of a chance that we'll end up seeing Star being rebranded as like Hulu Star or something like that. Who knows? But the last one before we move on from Disney, I got to give one of our longtime viewers a shout here. Disney Plus is the best streamer currently available in the UK. Watch the Orville. I can endorse the statement of watch the Orville. I think the Orville, we should have done an episode on it by now, Paul, because if you're looking for actual sci-fi, I think the Orville is the strongest TV show I've seen in a long time. Because when they do sci-fi, they do it really well. They do good old-fashioned, we're taking a sci-fi concept and we're going to do an episode about it. Not since the heady days of Voyager or the Next Generation has anybody done that. A lot of people miss it because it's got humor in it too. But even if you just ignore the humor, you'll see there's great basic sci-fi in there.
Yeah, I would agree with that they're doing amazing styled sci-fi stuff that like reminiscence of the Star Trek adventure kind of days, kind of thing. I would equally fight that statement with like The Expanse or several like a few other sci-fi stuff that has come down the road. Expanse is a fantastic sci-fi thing.
They're one big story versus and I completely get you. Yeah, it's very unfair.
This is
it was a bit of a rough statement on my part.
Yeah, the Orville has an amazing like amazing storylines for large amounts of sci-fi concepts and stuff like that, like Star Trek did, kind of thing. So like I do definitely agree with the statement that we've never seen a predecessor as close to Star Trek as you can get, except with Orville.
It's true. Big fan. Looking forward to season 3, which is out Q1 next year, I believe, end of it, sometime around March. I would love to know why Disney Plus is the best streamer currently available. So Ethan, if you're still watching, give us the quick why, and we'll circle back around to it. But Paul, should we be rating these things ourselves?
I say that. Well, that's a difficult thing to do, I guess, because I say that a lot of problems that the UK might be having is because their distribution region may have changed due to a recent decision, I should say. On their part, so their distribution regions may have changed, because I do know that Ireland and England and the UK were constantly chucked together, but it was under the greater European region, and now that the UK isn't in the European Union, their distribution, I would say that every single streaming service is now fighting to get their stuff back because of that change. So a lot of stuff is probably disappearing off other streaming services. Well,
I wouldn't be arguing with Ethan that Disney Plus isn't great. The best streamer currently in the UK, I'd just love to know why. I don't know if I would rate it as my number one, and I might surprise you later on with why, once we get through a few more. So Paul, how about we go to... Let's just get Netflix out of the way, because Netflix is, it's burying the lead not to talk about them. Netflix for me, and I've chosen a few simple images here to get the image, the idea across. We can't really go through Netflix's content and talk about it because they've been around so long, and they themselves have even made so much or bought so much that nobody else had bought. They've got the Stranger Things. They've had big TV shows. They've had Roma. I chose Marriage Story as a good example of their award winning, their praise garnering movies. Triple Frontier represents a whole category of middle of the road movies that they've been making that aren't terrible. They aren't great. Some of them are better than others. Like Old Guard was wonderful. I liked Extraction. I'm not sure you enjoyed it as much. I can't remember how you felt about it. But they're of that quality. Then you've got the Adam Sandler contract and all the rest. And then for me, things like Bright, and I think the Jamie Foxx one was called Power.
Yeah, Powers. Yeah,
they
or
left
Power.
me pretty cold. But there's another example of big budget taking a chance, putting their money where their mouth is. Some of them have worked, some of them haven't. So Netflix, no matter what else I'll say about Netflix tonight, I still respect that they are not just keeping in the game for the sake of it. They are taking chances, and they are putting money up to make all manner of documentaries, to buy all manner of documentaries, to buy comedy specials and fund comedy specials, to fund TV shows, to fund all the different types of movies, not just the crowd pleasers, not just the awards pleasers, but what I've tried to kind of represent here is a lot of the in-between as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is an interesting, because I just saw Pop Culture 33's comment about Netflix being on the chopping block from, and I was just about to comment on this. This is the thing. A lot of their content is stuff that isn't Netflix, a lot of their content isn't Disney Plus, isn't like HBO Max. It's stuff like, it isn't connected to another streaming service that is available in Europe, or a channel, or anything like that. That's the thing. So like a lot of the content that they have on it are standalone, like doesn't have a place yet, kind of thing. So I can definitely see that in the States, a lot of their content would be owned by other systems, so that they're probably now trying to pull away from the Netflix giant and start their own streaming services, or put the stuff on their own like platforms and stuff. So I say that Netflix in the States is slowly being emptied of other content, and it's finding it difficult to fill the vault with more stuff that like isn't available on the other channels.
Which is the reverse for us, because like CBS All Access doesn't exist here. So we got Picard through Amazon, and we got Star Trek Discovery through Netflix. Yeah. So they were smart enough to pass it out to other services in other geographies. So Netflix is actually a beneficiary on our side of the water. Like you say, they're losing out in the States.
Yeah, so but they've doubled down on this whole regional thing as well, which is also interesting. They're opening up the African front, not to bring back to a terrible time, but they're opening up the African front, and they're also specifically targeting regions with content that's for them. So like Netflix has decided to invest in local movie and TV industries. So I know that there's 2 TV shows based in Ireland which are coming out on the Ireland regions of Netflix soon. Not soon, but I know that they're being talked about, and they're in post-production kind of thing, which is great. I know that France and Germany also have their own TV shows that are coming out. In fact, Germany has Dark, which is a fantastic also sci-fi kind of show that is coming out. But this is what they're doing. They're doubling down on content from local things. So like it means that stories from Ireland and stuff like that will be on the Netflix. But the thing is that it won't be just available for Ireland. It'll be available for everywhere.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Which is great. It means, and the reason for this also is because one of the top TV shows has come out, and it's all based on this Squid Games.
I was about to say, please say it soon, because we also need to be able to put that in for our SEO.
Yeah. Squid Games is a local regional, it's not Netflix backed kind of thing. It was a local Korean show, not local Korean show, but it was a show from Korea that Netflix decided to pick up. They have legacy matrix or legacy analytics, which is amazing. The amount of Korean drama and Korean shows that have exploded within the European and States regions is amazing. That they were just like, we need to buy more Korean, content, and it's now given us Squid Game, which is one of the biggest shows out there right now.
And look, if you're going to talk about foreign language successes, Korea, let's face it, Korean cinema has been, and we've talked about it for a few years now, it's been a powerhouse in the world stage that everybody's missing out on. All the way back, Old Boy and before, and Train to Busan since then. You've had the odd breakout that people have caught. But on top of that, the Netflix special, as I should call it, the Netflix perfect thing is Scandinavian, so Norway, Denmark, any of the Scandinavian countries. If you can get a detective with a Bjorgen type name and get him solving a crime in the dark or cold, it takes off like nobody's business in the UK, and from what I'm hearing, also in America. So there's an entire cottage industry now of people looking for the next novel that was written in Germany or north of Germany to see if they can make TV shows about it. I'm sure there are people in Finland right now turning somebody away from their door going, no, I haven't written a novel about a murder that happened in a barn on the edge of my property. Because those shows are they're being made so fast. Some of them are so good that they're taking off. But I am hearing and reading things where people are going, yeah, some of the choices are not great now because they just want more and more. So they're maybe not picking the best source material at all times. People will be like, hey, it's called Skaborgen. That sounds great. Greenlight that one. I want to see it on TV next month. And people are like, oh, it was one small book. It doesn't have enough for our episodes.
Yeah, I get you. Kind of thing. Yeah, like this is Netflix and its regional thing. It's absolutely amazing. Now I also just saw now. MGTV says to take his Disney comments at a pinch of salt because he's a Disney journalist.
We know. I've read. I'm watching you. Don't worry.
But Pop Culture 33 is annoyed in the fact that there's either dub or sub. And it's not always uniformed. This is an interesting thing. There is no dubbed or subbed general rule. As in, throughout broadcasting, there is no dubbed or subbed rule. Netflix have decided that they want to make us they want to be the people to standardize us.
I'm not sure what you mean by rule.
The standard in which subtitles or dubs are done. So, like, you can get very bad dubbed stuff because it's done by fans or something like that because it's not done at all.
Oh, okay.
Netflix are coming in to standardize it. They're just like, what we're going to do first is any content on our platform must have a sub and dub version, and it must be up to the quality in which we want it to be.
From an accessibility... See, there are some standards because I used to work in this, but I understand what you mean from a... Not everything has to have a you can actually dub to a different standard if you want. Same thing with subtitles if you want. But yeah, Netflix are doing the right thing in my opinion, offering both. Like Squid Game, I had the choice. Do I want to watch it dubbed or subbed? In fact, I haven't finished it yet, so don't spoil it for me. But you watched Squid Game. Did you choose sub or dub?
We're watching dub.
You're watching dub. I'm watching sub. So that'll be interesting. I wonder how some of the more annoying characters come across. Does it take the edge off if the dub was better? Because that one lady, oh my god, that one lady. I'm
good at everything, but I'm not good at the.
Yeah, she's hard to listen to. She is hard to listen to in her native tongue.
She's both. She's hard in both.
Okay, good. Yeah, and she's hard in subtitle too. Because gosh, nothing's happened to her yet. Where I'm watching, let's hope maybe. I don't know, wish death on a character. She's fictional. What the hell? Yeah, I don't mind if she doesn't make it to the end.
Well, the thing is that currently when they get in content, it's not part of their agreement that it has to be dubbed and subbed, and also the quality in which it is dubbed and subbed. So their idea is that if they start for any content that they want to buy, or get onto that platform, they are going to have, and it's a regional specific kind of content. So like if they do have any African like stories or TV shows that they want to kind of bring up and put onto like the European like regions, it has to have a proper sub and a proper dub to a standard in which they're wanting.
Yeah.
And the reasoning that they're starting this is because if they start demanding it for all the content that's being put onto their platforms will just start, or not platforms, but broadcasters and production houses and everyone who's making content will just start doing it anyway, just in the off chance that their content gets up there. So, like, because it would be terrible if you did something 3 years ago, and then like Netflix come and goes, "Hey, we want that on our platform," and you go, "Oh, we don't have it really, like, it's not subbed or dubbed up to your
so
like standard.
We've got to put more money or more work in, or else we're not out." It's like designing something designing an app. You want to make sure that it's going to meet the Apple App Store regs, just to get yourself on the bigger things. Sorry, you go.
So the idea is literally that they're going to standardize the whole thing by essentially making a standard for themselves, and that will spread.
Oh, well, like, they're the biggest buyer in the market, so that's how that's going to work, which is great. And I was about to say I'm proud of them. I'm glad that they're doing that, because, and again, I can't say things for legal reasons, but let's just say there were some business relationships that I was involved in that involved Netflix and some of these things multiple years ago. But the cool thing for me right now is, Brew has just said there's a big discussion about Squid Game, that it's slightly different in the dub or slightly different in the sub. So that's going to be fun for me when we're talking, depending on how far they deviate. I imagine there's only some small nuance differences, but I'm really glad that this is a conversation that people are now having, because the more people talk about, do you go with dubs or do you go with subtitles, the more likely they are to give foreign to their language cinema a chance, and that's great. Because I don't care which you prefer. I just want you to see all the good stuff that the world has to offer. We may talk about Squid Game in future. I'm just going to give you my kind of 3-second opinion right now. It's got issues. It's good. Love the premise. Bit of ropey acting here and there. I have a bad feeling that I'm going to watch it and go, wow, that was 10 episodes or 9 episodes that really should have been 6. It feels like it's doing the modern day problem of stretch everything. But yeah, have you finished it, right?
And I'm like 2 episodes away from the end.
Oh, me too. I think I might be 3. Ooh. Then we might finish at the same time. It'll be interesting. I want to get away from Netflix because the other ones are more interesting. Brew also says must be a lot of serial killers in Scandinavia. I don't think there are. I think there's just a lot of really good creative writers, and also a climate and landscape that is atmospheric and quite foreboding. Gets dark nice and early and is quite chilly. Always good for setting a bit of murder.
Yeah, I think it's also such a different landscape to what we generally see. I think that's why 30 Days of Night and stuff like that did not amazing, but did really well for their kind of genre of movie.
It's true.
So
it's true.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, I'm going to suggest, do you want to choose HBO or Amazon Prime next?
Amazon Prime pretty much has the same story as Netflix for me, so if you want to do like Amazon Prime...
I'll do Amazon Prime because for me it's slightly different. The reason it's slightly different is Amazon Prime has done that thing. Their business model, again, like Disney Plus, Amazon's been very clever to give themselves away. You get Amazon Prime, you get Amazon Prime Video for free. I don't even have Amazon Prime, but I have Amazon Prime Video for free, or at least I did, because my internet provider bundled it and said, you can get a year of Amazon Prime Video with our service. And I loved it and I took it, and I've kept Amazon Prime. It was so close to the chopping block after that first year so many times because of the interface. Let's face it, Amazon Prime still has the worst interface of all the services we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But I actually think from just a random, let's go in there and see, if I go to Netflix now, I end up watching a documentary or a stand-up special. That's what happens to me on Netflix. Amazon Prime is the one where I'm like, I'll give that show a go or I'll give that movie a go. I'm finding things that I wouldn't usually bother watching. Now, obviously, The Boys, we loved it. I know because we talked about it on air. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel was one of their earlier breakout hits. Jack Ryan, I haven't watched. I keep being told to watch it, and
great.
you're one of the people that keeps telling me to watch it. So like they've done good, but what I kind of wanted to throw up about it is their movies, not as strong a roster. Now they've got some good. The Amazon originals, some of them have been great. Val, really looking forward to. I assume it's going to be as good as it looks. But Without Remorse or The Tomorrow War, some of the recent big budget ones, they've just not been good. An Amazon original for me is at the same level as a Netflix original. I will look at it and go, which tier are we in here? Are we in the this is good, or we made this because we think it's Friday night popcorn? In which case, it's a flip of a coin as to whether or not it's going to have been worth your while. 6 Underground on one service, The Tomorrow War on the other. And I can defend 6 Underground for Netflix a lot more than I can defend The Tomorrow War, because I genuinely thought it was awful.
I can defend Tomorrow War.
Oh, cool. Well, then maybe we should face them off as an episode. Which is the better of the bad films?
Oh, that is a hard fucking question, but I can defend Tomorrow War.
Okay. Do you want to do it? And is it a 10-second defense?
We'll do I think we could probably pull an episode out of it.
Sure. We talk away. We can pull an episode out of anything. What I want to do though is, for the sake of the SEO, but also because I didn't know about it until today's trailer. There's a show or a movie called The Tender Bar, as instead of the bartender, The Tender Bar. It's Ben Affleck movie, directed by George Clooney. I suggest you go watch the trailer after this. It looks very interesting. It's based on somebody's memoirs, essentially. So a writer's, not autobiography necessarily. Looks good, looks interesting. This typifies Amazon Prime for me. They do not know how to market their stuff, at least in our geography. I don't know how they are elsewhere. Amazon Prime could have the best movies and the best TV shows, but you will never know it because their advertising is just like their interface. Terrible.
Yeah, well, you see, I guess that's the kind of thing where their industry isn't movies and TV shows. Their industry it's a secondary kind of, I guess, industry for them kind of thing, because they are primarily a shopping kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the interesting point that you had was that I don't go to another streaming service because I don't Amazon Prime is more kind of your shuffle kind of thing. Have you used Netflix's Show Me Something?
Yeah.
Show Me Something.
Yeah, their kind of shuffle thing. Yeah.
I have used that so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God,
I love it.
Really? I can't bring myself. Tried it and I was like, no, I need to be the master of my own destiny when it comes to the little amount of time I have to watch streaming. I think what you're doing is much more healthy, though. I wish I was a better person.
I love it. I love the whole idea of just, because this is the thing is there's for TV I used to just you just turn something on and then you find out that it's going to be on in about 15 minutes and you're just like, grand, this is what I'm going to watch. I've started just to do that with the shuffle kind of thing.
Gotcha.
It has shown me some corkers of crap. I will tell you that. Things I have not been interested at in the slightest.
Right.
But I still watch the episode. So.
Well, that's cool. I'll be honest with you. My week time. I'm not saying I don't love this channel, but the only thing outside of work that I can make even 10 minutes for usually is this channel. So my streaming time and any viewing time it's militaristically managed and planned now. And I love the sound of what you're doing there because I think it's so much more mentally healthy. So I was a big fan when I heard Netflix were doing that. You hit your shuffle button and you get served up something. I think Amazon Prime's interface is like that because you never know what you're going to get because it's such a mess.
Yeah.
Unintentional.
It is. I definitely still can't believe that no one has no UX designer. Actually, I can't believe that a UX designer has gone, yeah, this is good. So,
I know the jokes are old about they're busy sending Bezos to space and stuff, but they've definitely got the cash to give somebody a weekend and say, even just knock the rough edges off it, will you? We don't need it fixed. We just need the dirt, washed off this thing. But yeah, well, let's not get into bashing it. I want to check the comments with you if that's all right.
Oh, I could. You check the comments and I'll bash Chase Bozo because he interrupted William Shatner after coming back from space. So fuck that guy.
Oh, did he? I haven't seen. I heard that Shatner went up, but I haven't seen anything.
Oh yeah, William Shatner was just first of all, he's the oldest person in space, I believe, and yeah, he was describing a really nice this is one of the best. Everybody needs to do this. It's such a magical kind of thing. He was absolutely changed by his experience of seeing the Earth from space.
Wow!
And Jeff Bezos interrupted him to fucking open a champagne bottle and spray people.
Oh dear. Oh, just I know. Spoiler warning for everybody else. Did he say if it was flat or not when he was up there?
He never gave it away.
Just check.
He never gave it away. He never gave it away.
I can see in the comments. Yeah, Tomorrow War was fun. Didn't expect much. Without Remorse was such a disappointment. Great actor, but Michael B. Jordan is that good that I was expecting maybe more than I should have. But from people who I know are fans of the character from the books, we're also annoyed. It just wasn't a great movie.
No.
Amazon Prime focus is now on Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the big Lord of the Rings series coming out, not out yet. I get the idea of jumping in and out of Amazon. I kind of do. For me, it's relatively cheap here. It really is, and because I got a year for free, I've just been letting it run and seeing how it go. If I was to remove one tomorrow, I don't know if it'd be the first though. It's done enough to earn its place. And I don't mean because of the Grand Tour or any of that really kind of trying to relive the old Top Gear Glory Day stuff that they keep pumping into the feed. And remember, I'm a car guy, but I'm like, oh, please, let's let this die. This is old stuff. Brew asks, how much would it cost to subscribe to them all? I don't know. We should do the math on that per geography another day. Well, let's put it this way, Brew. It'll be the same as your Sky subscription, easily. But then again, can you get rid of your Sky subscription and get more from these services? Possibly.
I'm currently trying to do the math.
Amazon is nothing without the boys. Well, and so say us, because the boys was fantastic. I've already noticed teasers happening on YouTube. They're doing their kind of fake Fox News anchor telling stories from the world of the boys. I love that kind of marketing campaign. You can tell it's not really Amazon. That's somebody else's brain was put into gear for that. I'm going to go with HBO Plus next then, Paul, so that we can leave the run to the litter, as we used to call it. We used to pick on Apple TV. But I think if we get through HBO, you might find that we've softened a little.
Yeah. Also, just going to Netflix, Midnight Mass. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Oh, there's another recommendation, folks. Particularly around Halloween, because I know it's got a certain amount of creep to it. It may well be the Halloween watch this year. Also, comment down below which John Carpenter movie I should watch this year for Halloween, because we've done we've done everything. I don't want James Woods in my life this Halloween. I don't know. I just don't. But yeah, so pick your favorite Carpenter movie. Halloween, the original, was last year, and The Fog was the year before. So it's got to be something else. I don't mind bringing something else back soon. So Paul, I've accidentally left up Now TV. That, folks, if you'll notice, and I will toggle this, HBO Max, which is now appearing where Now TV was. Now TV, for any of you who've never heard of it, you don't live in the UK or Ireland. That Sky crowd that we were talking about, they own a whole load of stuff. And if you have a Sky subscription, you can pay them more and more incrementally for each of the channels that they will try and gouge more money from you for. Or you can start buying things as events. So like I use Now TV. Paul, I think you do too, to watch things like the Formula One. So I'll buy like a weekend subscription for it just to watch the racing. But similarly, a lot of HBO Max content will go as far as Now TV. So you can buy a short-term subscription and watch it there. Not all of it, but some of it.
I would just look at the sports package thing, just because it turns out that it might be cheaper than getting the day thing.
Really?
Just as an again, I did the maths on the pricing for the day, the 24-hour pass thing for the races. and it turns out that it's €5 cheaper, I think, for the just a month thing.
Wow. Okay, well, I will have to talk after, because if you can save me that money, I can go into getting Apple TV, which I may have to get now. Shh, nobody mentioned it yet. HBO, Paul, they've done a great job. HBO Max is the one that we wanted most. It's the one we were like, can't wait for it, can't wait for it, can't wait for it. There was Lovecraft Country. There was all sorts of stuff. We still haven't got it. The aforementioned Now TV is our access. But they've done that thing in 2021, which we have mixed feelings on. You've mentioned it and I've mentioned it. We don't... I'm not speaking for Paul. When I say we have mixed feelings, we have different mixed feelings, but also similarly. It's a bit cheeky. They said anything that we make now, any big movie we release this year is also coming out same day on HBO Max. Suicide Squad, great. They're making a Suicide Squad spin-off TV show, The Peacemaker, John Cena. Could be funny. I'm not going to be paying money to see it. I'll see it at some stage. Dune, on the other hand, or Dune. Still messing around with that. Dune will be funny for me, because I'm going to go and see it in the cinema probably twice, and yet I'd still like to have HBO Max so that I could see it a third time then, and slow it down and pause it and stop it and all that kind of stuff for the sake of this channel. So weirdly, one that I would definitely be going to the cinema anyway. I would love to have on a home service for academic reasons or for YouTube reasons.
Yeah, like Dune or HBO Max. Yeah, they're expanding into 11 European regions over the next 2 years. So we should be seeing probably a release eventually for Ireland, which would be great, as we said. But yeah, Sky has really got a stranglehold. Now TV have really got a stranglehold in their distribution stuff in our sub-region of Europe, which is awful.
Actually, someone commented Now TV is hot garbage. Couldn't agree more, by the way. I wouldn't go near it if I didn't have to. And their smart TV app is crap because it keeps crashing. Anyway,
this is so they are a close second in the UX horribleness kind of thing, because they've decided. Do you know what everybody really likes? The inbuilt TV menu system of every single cable show group. Yeah, kind of thing. We should do that, because we haven't pissed off enough people by keeping HBO's content away from them.
Do you know what? I'm going to call it. You're right, because I didn't even think of Now TV as part of this, really. Now TV is much worse than anything else, because it is worse than Amazon for me.
I think Amazon is still worse, because really? I can't. It's just because it's just carousels. It's just all carousels.
At least it doesn't lose its pants every time you try and scroll through something too quickly, and then it's like, nah, computer won't now.
See, I haven't. Yeah, I guess I haven't come across that bug yet, so I guess I'm a little bit lucky. But HBO Max has pissed us off as cinema goers by going, well, you'll get everything that we release in the cinema straight on your platform the same time, and it's just like, can you not do a week? Can you not do a goddamn week?
Even just a week.
Would it kill you?
I genuinely wouldn't even have brought it up if they'd done 10 days. Give it 2 weekends. Just 2 weekends. But no, that's board members for you. That's people looking to emulate Disney Plus, because let's face it, the board at Disney, their primary goal now is make and aim everything at Disney Plus. They're still thinking of their cinema money, but it's an open secret that they're all saying, well, how will we funnel people towards Disney Plus from this? HBO Max, you better believe it that they're overtly doing that, going, hey, we want this thing to take off and take off quickly. My suggestion to them would have been, well, then maybe make a bigger effort with better lawyers to have more international and geographic locations covered by HBO Max. Break more contracts, get more viewers. But yeah, it's like you mentioned earlier, you need one heck of a lawyer to get out of some of these display contracts. TV shows, Paul, they're all over the place. Again, Mayor of Easttown, I would have watched it by now if I had HBO Max. I would be watching The Flight Attendant probably, because I've heard some good things. I'm not a Sopranos person, but I know a lot of people who were like, Many Saints of Newark, big for me. It's a shame. I think we're not going to be able to see it for quite a long time, as in HBO Max.
Yeah, well, I know I know that MG said that they just renewed their subscription thing with Sky. The thing is that Ireland is no longer a sub region with the UK, which is how that works, kind of thing. So there might be loopholes for Ireland. So that'll be interesting to see how they get around that if they want to, because they already know that there's a large audience here, especially with Game of Thrones being made here. I know it was made in the north, but on the island of Ireland. Because I'm not going to make the mistake of saying that Northern Ireland is a part of the Republic.
Don't touch that hot potato. Your fingers will get burnt, and you will not get any chips.
Just like no one should ever mistaken that the Republic of Ireland is part of the UK. You have been warned, audience. But yeah, I know that it says that their distribution thing has been moved to 2026, but because Ireland has now moved from the sub region away from the UK, it means that there's a possible loophole for Ireland, for the Republic of Ireland. So that'll be interesting.
And on that, can we take a little comments break, because there's some great stuff in here. By the way, thank you for the suggestions. The thing was actually top of the list, so I'm really glad somebody picked it there. That was pop culture. Miss Cupcakes, They Live. I messed up. We watched that like 6 weeks ago and realised, what the hell are we doing? We should have kept that one. But it was there, and my wife had never seen it. I was like, we got to watch this, because we definitely came to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and we were all out of bubblegum.
Also one of the great commentators on capitalism.
Oh yeah, it stands up to it today too. It really does. Yeah. If they remade it and added some social media, it would be hilarious to watch an update of They Live. There's some talk here of Apple TV, which we'll get to in a moment. What do you think about services which allow temporary subscriptions? Find it a bit annoying, but handy for the odd sports stuff for sure. I don't like temporary subscriptions as much as I think all these services, like Disney Plus is a good example. I would prefer them to say you can buy individual pieces of content if you can't subscribe in this geography. So let's say you're in a place that can't do Disney Plus. You should be able to say, well, I will be able to go to Disney.com and buy just one division. Same thing with HBO Max. Same thing with anything. I'm more of a fan of the idea that you could go and pick specific content, and then, obviously once you've realized you're buying enough of it, maybe you'll go for a subscription. I think the Now TV model, I don't know how much I like it. I really don't. It's.
I would I don't know. This is the problem. I don't know how temporary. I don't know how temporary subscriptions would work, right? Because essentially the subscription models for most of the streaming services is temporary. It's something you can cancel after a month. Well, it's a rolling contract. So all you have to do is just go in, just cancel it, and it rolls over until the next renewal date, and then you don't have it. They have to invent my own. I'm not downside. I'm not battering your kind of comments. It's the categorization one is an interesting one, because that's what YouTube does, kind of thing. Does a lot for the thing, but they invented the churn rate specifically because of the turnover rate of subscribers to going from one to the other platform, kind of thing. So it's an interesting kind of thought of I guess the tier level thing for Disney Plus would be more of a simple would be more of a kind of thing I could see a lot of people going for. So Netflix could do it for the kids as well, because they have the kids section.
Yeah.
They could do it there as well. Give you kind of I guess breaking up your subscription models in the sense of kind of, you just want adult content. Well, instead of it being €10 a month, it's now $7.99 a month, kind of thing. Well, if I pay the extra €2, I'll get the kids stuff, and every now and again, I might watch an animated series.
It is that value add. That's how they get you. And I want to finish out these comments and get on to the big show, which we used to call the little show, which is Apple TV Plus. Thank you. I can see you miss Cupcakes is still talking about They Live, and I absolutely agree. It has a wonderful that alley fight scene is just so dirty, sloppy, and just goes on forever. So good. Great comment, and absolutely couldn't agree with you more. There's Ethan's talking about the kind of the Sky HBO Max thing there again. Yeah, we've kind of covered that, and I agree. But pop culture, just to finish out with you there, HBO Max, most things come to physical media or can be bought in iTunes. Again, what you can purchase from different geographies is a thing. And as much as we're into physical media, not everybody is. But by the way, if you are into physical media, there's a channel you should check out called Pop Culture 33, because his stuff's just great. I was going to say because his stuff's better than ours. And as much as that's true, I probably shouldn't say it on our channel. But do go and check him out. There you go. I know, but seriously, do check him out. Right, Paul. We used to laugh. We laughed heartily, like cruel people. We laughed at the Apple. We laughed at them going, what have they even got that we'd be bothered? And unfortunately, because the internet is broadcast to Steve Jobs' house in the volcano lair where he's still alive, he was like, yes, show them that they must want our service. First, there was that hint with Greyhound. Remember, we were like, damn it, why is Tom Hanks' Greyhound? Why is that going to be Apple TV Plus? And I remember wanting to... my father-in-law, I was like, that's a show he'll really love. But we can't get it to him because, I couldn't use the Netflix subscription, couldn't use Disney Plus, couldn't use Amazon Prime. It's like, I'm not an Apple person and I don't have Apple TV. Damn it, we're going to have to just miss out on Greyhound. Then Ted Lasso comes out and it's like, I really want to watch that. And then everybody starts saying how good it is. Then it's winning awards. Now, Paul, they've got you too. Because you're like, I'm thinking about it because of Foundation. I know there's other people in the chats because I've seen the Twitter conversation. Foundation series. I'm excited for that. That's another thing. And I think I threw this in at the last moment. Then I saw a trailer for another Tom Hanks movie, Finch, which I have to see because it's the most me movie in the history of time. It's Tom Hanks, an adorable dog, and a robot. Yep. I can't not have that in my life.
Yeah, it feels like Apple TV have decided that they're going to corner maybe some of the more traditional sci-fi channel stuff. Like they seem to be trying to corner that market kind of thing. Foundation's one of the oldest and biggest sci-fi. Actually, there's the thing. One of the oldest and most celebrated Foundation or sci-fi kind of old school stuff. I know that we had Amazon Prime's Man in the High Castle, which is an also classic Philip K. Dick thing. Foundation is Asimov, as I can't pronounce his name. Never mind.
Isaac Asimov.
Isaac Asimov. Yeah, so it seems like they're trying to corner a market of kind of classic sci-fi stuff. I wouldn't be surprised to have seen a resurgence in the iRobot, in an iRobot TV series, because if anyone's read that book, they know that the Will Smith movie has nothing to do, or is very likely based on that book. Very likely based.
In name only, some would say.
It takes the three laws, so that's the other thing.
But dude, we've got a problem here though, because it's not about how good the content is. I already have 3 of these services. I don't need a 4th, and I certainly don't need the most awkward one to get. Because for us, I don't know about the rest of the world, but for us, Apple TV Plus is the most awkward to get. It's just a pain. Like I'm not an iPhone user. I happen to be Android. Love me or hate me for that, I don't care. I don't pick sides in this. It just happens to be the way I went. But an awful lot of people I know that do have Apple TV Plus have it for free with their iPhone, and they don't watch it at all. And I'm like, crikey, I can't go spending more money now. I just can't. It's to Bruce's question, and we're passing the $80 a month at that point. If you start adding them all up, it's not okay.
Yeah, well, this is my thing. Do you pay for a TV like a TV
I
kind of
I get it with
service?
my internet. If I could turn it off, I would. If it would make things cheaper, because I just don't watch terrestrial TV anymore.
Well, yeah, because this is the interesting thing. I am moving to, so I also get the TV with my internet.
Mm.
It's bundled together. I am moving to an internet only system because I can with the money that I spent on my TV/internet, I can get a better connection, a way better connection, and also then afford another streaming service on top of what I already have.
Gotcha.
So like I'm so this is my thing. So like yeah, I definitely understand the whole like if you like paying for your entertainment system is now what 200,
Yeah.
like 200, and then if you add on like the Xbox and if you add on Xbox Game Now or the Games Pass and also
Or the
PlayStation
PlayStation
Plus,
Network or one of those. Yeah.
yeah, you add more stuff to it. Then like the entertainment landscape is growing large, in the kind of
Well, the thing that keeps me rich? Being time poor. Because I haven't turned on a games console in a couple of years now, thanks to just how life is. But that's my problem here. Apple TV, much like Amazon Prime, if you gave me Apple TV Plus free for a while and it was a nominal fee after that to keep it, maybe I would make it work in my life once it's proved itself. But I can't do a trial and decide because I mightn't get time to watch anything that month. There's too much content. There's not enough time. And I'm not going to say there are too many streaming services. I was just happier when some of them were crap for me because they've
I
all
get that.
become too good. And that's the message I want to kind of end out this or head towards the door in this particular one. Whatever you can say about the streaming wars, I don't think there have been losers. I think there have just been a whole load of winners. Okay, there were losers at the start that weren't even in the fight. You going to mention Peacock?
Yeah,
CBS All
just
Access?
I'm gonna say that there's a few losers, and there will be eventually more losers because like as we're going towards this whole kind of like look at how the video and TV kind of industry is going. They're all kind of consolidating into one mega corporate or like into a few mega corporations. Yes, the world of mega corporations already exists with Amazon and Google, kind of thing. So like I'm gonna forget Facebook because Facebook's in the shitter right now. But yeah, with the streaming wars, it's just like I wouldn't be surprised to see someone like Peacock and a couple of other ones maybe jumping on board with a consolidation with Netflix,
Yeah.
or you know keep us old schools like old school TV kind of thing and just consolidate together. Like build a kind of like weird umbrella kind of streaming service with a bunch of the kind of secondary channels and stuff. I won't be surprised. So I think there has been losers in the sense of they are not growing as fast as they should be. There's going to be a point in time when they're going to have to come to which is either consolidate or stop.
Yeah.
To sell our content on other channels.
The consolidation, I think, one of my guesses is that we're going to see a landscape where it's providers. Providers will sell bundle deals. You'll get an entertainment internet package where you no longer get a TV. You don't get your Sky subscription or whatever it is here, or get your Air TV package. You basically get here's your internet access. Here's your bandwidth. We also give you a subscription to the top 5 streaming services at a much reduced rate. I think there'll be people who can, in certain geographies, try that, and they will. I think there will be so much legal messing around for the next 15 years that by the time all of the legal messing around is done, the landscape will have changed so much that we won't even be able to use the word streaming. Things will have changed massively again. I can see Peacock and CBS Plus are looking to merge. Yeah, CBS Plus is Paramount Plus merged into it at this stage or whatever. Like the mergers are happening and the consolidation is already happening in the smaller spaces. Personally, I love the streaming wars because I thought this was going to be Disney trying to kill Netflix and both of them trying to kill HBO, and Amazon Prime just being that cool hippie kid that's dancing to their own tune in the corner of the disco. And honestly, we can't hide it because it's in our videos. We thought Apple TV Plus would just be kept alive by the fact that people buy iPhones. But they've all upped their game, and they've all decided not to try and kill or cannibalize each other. They're doing their own thing. And I'm loving it. I'm hating the cost aspect of it and the time aspect of it. But isn't it a great complaint to say that there just is not enough time? Even if I quit my job tomorrow and did nothing but sit down and just watch, I wouldn't get through all the stuff that's been recommended to me that is probably worth it.
No, like I think we did a episode on the fact that there's just too much. We are going through a golden age of entertainment right now, and it's I would say that it's partly just because of the way that our kind of society, like we want escapism. Currently, the world is not a fun, as fun of a place to be in. So, like, escaping into the media world is just resurgence of golden age of TV and movies and stuff. So, like, the streaming services have just benefited from this completely. So,
which is, I'm about to go all people's front of Judea on you and just be like, also, go to the cinema. Forget all the streaming stuff. Physical media should still live, and go to the cinema. Freedom.
Well, this is the thing. Physical media should never go away. It's a collector's item now, and it's like, it's too good to have, the actual physical stuff. The cinema should never go away. It's where it all began. It's where all this exploded into the industry. So I don't see why we should ever. And HBO Max need to change that. They need to fucking change that idea. So does Disney. Disney needs to change the idea as well that they start releasing. I get why they're releasing them currently because a lot of cinemas were closed, but they need to stop that.
Yeah, and look, the myriad of different approaches that have been taken, it's all going to shake out. In a few years, I can see that all calming down. I just hope that it comes out the way that you and I want. Where at the very least, the minimum theatrical release window is going to be a couple of weeks for anybody. I've heard the 17-day thing and all the rest. But look, as long as all of you watching us out there continue, if you can, to support your local cinema, go every now and again, visit the Church of Movies, get yourself in, be in the good sound system, because no matter how good your one at home is, if your local theatre is any good, there should be better. If it isn't, welcome to the town I grew up in, because we didn't have a cinema, and the bus ride to the nearest place that did. Oh wow, yeah, I think they had a Sony Walkman that somebody ran down and pressed play. And, they just had a couple of really janky speakers. But I'm old. Walkman just aged me. Paul, you want to walk us home with a wrapping up of our thoughts on this? And then don't ask anybody to like, share, and subscribe, or hit the notification bell, or comment, because we would love to hear them, because I've just done that.
I guess, thanks for watching. Comment down below, your favorite streaming services and stuff like that, some of the shows that you're looking forward to in the future. Other than that, we've been Hear Us Out. I've been Paul.
And I've been Patrick.
And we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, and we'll see you very soon. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.